Okay, so you're telling me a YouTube channel that started with a guy singing nursery rhymes in a garage is now getting a full-blown theatrical movie. That's the wild ride we're on with CoComelon, the movie. Let me break this down, not just as a pop culture observer, but as someone who's genuinely fascinated by how internet-born IP becomes a billion-dollar empire. Let's start with the obvious: this is a huge gamble. Taking a franchise that thrives on 3-minute, hyper-repetitive songs about wheels and apples and expanding it into a 90-minute cinematic universe. Bold move. Either this becomes a case study in brand overreach, or it's the next Frozen for toddlers. Personally, I think the fact that Universal is bankrolling this says more about the collapse of traditional kids' TV than it does about CoComelon's storytelling potential. But let's dig deeper. So the teaser shows JJ and friends entering kindergarten, right? Big world, new friends, heart, all the buzzwords. But here's what stands out to me: why kindergarten? That's a deliberate choice. This isn't just a random adventure, it's a calculated pivot to mirror the audience's real-life transition from home screens to structured learning. CoComelon's genius has always been its hyperspecificity. They didn't just make cartoons, they created behavioral templates for toddlers. Now they're selling parents the fantasy that this digital babysitter can guide kids through their first big kid milestone. That's clever. Or creepy, depending on how you look at it. I'll get to that. Let's talk voice actors: SZA, Nicholas Hoult, Barinholtz. Wait, what's the vibe here? Is this a sausage party level wink at adults, or are they banking on parents being like, "Oh cool, I know that name"? From my perspective, casting SZA is a Hail Mary to make this feel modern. But does a Grammy-winning R&B artist bring credibility to a kids' movie, or is this just corporate bingo? Meanwhile, Nicholas Hoult doing comedy is always fun, but isn't there a risk of tonal whiplash? 1 minute it's JJ's ABCs, the next it's the guy from Mad Max, Fury Road yelling about snack time. That juxtaposition alone could be a masterstroke or a train wreck. We'll see. Now, the real story here isn't the movie itself. It's the infrastructure. Moonbug Entertainment, the shadowy puppet master behind CoComelon's rise, partnering with DreamWorks. That's a seismic shift. Moonbug's whole play has been algorithmic content farming: produce 10,000 hours of low-cost, high-volume content, and let the data decide what sticks. But DreamWorks? That's handcrafted animation legacy. This collision of content industrial complex and traditional studio magic might explain why the teaser looks, well, let's say ambitious. The expanded CG world they're teasing feels like a reaction to TikTok-era attention spans. Toddlers today don't want a movie, they want a sensory onslaught with 12 characters screaming every 30 seconds. Is that a criticism? Maybe. But it's also a reflection of where we're at. Here's the deeper question: why does this matter? On the surface, it's a movie about a cartoon kid going to school. But symbolically, this is a test run for the post-Netflix, post-Disney streaming reality. Universal's betting that theatrical still has cultural gravity, even for a franchise born on mobile devices. And if this bombs, they'll blame the IP. If it wins, every YouTuber with a merch line is getting a greenlit movie. What this really suggests is that Hollywood's out of ideas, or maybe just out of data scientists. Either way, I'm morbidly curious. When the lights go down in theaters next February, are parents going to be quietly sobbing while their kids sing Wheels on the Bus at full volume? Almost definitely. But hey, that's showbiz, right?